Hello! You're viewing For the Love of Animals, the show about pets and for pets. We have a great show for you today on rabbits, hamsters, and gerbils and their care. It's going to be a good show. I'm Darleen Pigford.
And I'm Greg Baur, and we're so happy that you've joined us today. We'd like to tell you about a couple of upcoming shows that you may be interested in. We're going to have Dr. Rennie Church talking about the care of newborn kittens and puppies.
Good.
And we're also going to have Mr. Bill Freels, who is going to talk about care and things for bluebirds. So stay tuned for those shows. And I think you forgot to mention one thing, Darlene. We have some ferrets here today.
Oh yes, and ferrets too. Well, Greg, introduce our guest.
I'd certainly be glad to. Many of you probably know Phoda Boulton, who's involved with Four Rivers Bird Rescue, a local organization, and you may have seen her in a previous show where she talked about birds. And today she's brought some of her other little friends. So Rhoda, we're so glad to have you with us today.
Welcome back. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
And why don't you tell us first of all a little bit about your organization in case some of our viewers are not familiar with you.
We're located at 4995 Meredith Road, Paducah, Kentucky. Our phone number is 270-444-0385. And at the rescue, we take pretty much anything the humane societies do not take, which are birds, small animals. We take ducks, chickens, geese, outside farm animals. We will also take goats and small animals like that. We have had a potbelly pig. So we do have arrangements for all of these animals, and also we do some reptiles.
And how many animals approximately are you taking care of right now?
Inside animals, about 28 to 30. Outside, about 150.
My word. And some of these animals are available for adoption, right?
Yes, ma'am. We get a lot of ducks and chickens in at this time of year, and so these guys will be available for adoption as soon as they're old enough to care for themselves.
Okay. Well, shall we start and tell us about how to properly care for rabbits, if I want a rabbit as a pet?
Okay. This here is Cookie. This is an appropriate size cage for a larger rabbit, and it's what makes these cages nice is you can open them from the top to get the animal out, or you can open them from the front. One of the big questions that people usually ask us is, rabbits, their toenails get hung in things very easily. So how do they get the rabbit out without hurting their legs? Which you always take the front of the rabbit and then put your hand under their back feet.
Okay.
And you can pull them right out and you actually have control of the animal.
Now, is that enough room, that cage, enough room for a rabbit?
This cage is perfect for one rabbit.
For one
rabbit. If you
rabbit.
had two rabbits, you would definitely want a bigger cage.
Okay, okay.
And this is real easy to clean. Cookie is actually litter trained. He goes into a litter box to do his pee-peeing and poo-pooing, which makes it real nice because you can just poop or scoop it like you would a cat every day.
Okay. And this is Cookie. Now, Cookie is your pet, right?
Cookie is our pet. He wasn't intended to be at first.
Right.
When he came in, he was actually a rescue rabbit that had his leg broke. So because of this break, and his foot grew back crooked, so he has a sideways gait, we decided we'd hold on to him for a little while.
Okay.
Well, then he turned out to be the most laid-back rabbit you will ever meet. He is definitely just perfect.
Definitely not the Bugs Bunny
He looks
type.
like a sweetheart.
Yes, he's not the typical rabbit. Most rabbits will not let you handle them the way Cookie here does. So, it does take work, and you do have to work with them to be able to handle them like
this. Okay, so this is not the typical rabbit right now.
Now, if you start as babies, you can get this result, but you need to start as young babies.
And what should I feed a rabbit, and what should I not feed a rabbit?
Okay, rabbits, they really need a protein pellet. Purina makes a really good protein pellet that puts the oils and stuff back into the fur. Also, they need like Timothy hay, alfalfa. They also love fresh fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
The only thing you want to stay away from always with small animals is iceberg lettuce.
Oh, really?
Iceberg lettuce is very bad for these guys. It has so much moisture in it, it can cause diarrhea, which then starts having other medical problems. And of course, with any of these guys, you're going to have major shedding. So a good brush, and if you notice, they'll kick back for you. He likes it. If you start them as young babies with the grooming, now he gets a bath once a week and he gets brushed at least every other day. And as you can tell, they really do like it.
He's precious.
He's really getting into this. He's
Oh
like,
my
keep
word,
going,
Cookie,
keep going.
you are a sweetheart.
But another thing with rabbits that you have to really be careful for is toenails.
Okay.
Their toenails grow very, very quickly. And the best thing to do is always have a little pair of nail clippers with you. And again, if you start these guys as young babies, getting used to this,
Hi, sweetie.
they sit perfectly still for you. And you can just clip away.
Wish my cats were that easy.
Yeah. So the toenails, the bathing, the brushing is really, really important with these guys.
And how long does a rabbit, what's their lifespan?
Different ages. I actually had a rabbit when I was a teenager that lived to be 8.
Okay.
So good health, good nutrition, lots of activity, they can live longer lives.
Oh, now, when you said lots of activity, do these animals need play like cats and dogs?
Absolutely. Cookie gets out of his cage every day. You can actually take his litter box, put it down on the floor, and he will go in it when he has to.
Oh, really?
Yes, so he gets to run around and have fun just like everybody else does. They make wonderful harnesses and leashes for these guys too, where you can take them outside in the summertime.
Oh, how nice. And do you have rabbits available for adoption?
At this time we do not, but we do get those in on a regular basis.
And you'll probably, at certain seasons, you get them in more than other times,
Exactly.
right?
Well, and particularly with Easter coming up, I'm sure that it will be a...
Yeah. Suppose people go out and, and around Easter time you do see lots of rabbits and ducks and all. What comment would you like to make about that?
Parents, do yourself a favor. Do not get a rabbit or any of these animals for Easter presents. It's just not a good idea. Ducks are meant to be on ponds, not in your living room.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So,
Well, for just a moment, why don't we take a break now and listen to a happy tale, one of Rhoda's pets, and I think you'll find this one very interesting about a little girl, Zoe, and a guinea pig, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. So let's give a listen.
Hi, my name is Baby and I'm an 8-week-old guinea pig. Not long ago, I was very comfortable at Rhoda's animal shelter, but didn't have any prospect of my own home. But one day, a lady came in to do some volunteer work for Rhoda and brought along her 3-year-old daughter, Zoe. She was a real cute little girl and seemed to be full of fun. We saw each other and knew that we were meant to be together. Zoe's mom said okay, and I went home with them. At night, I was supposed to sleep in a little cage, but Zoe would have none of it. One night, Zoe took me out of the cage and into her bed to sleep with her, and now I get to sleep with her every night. Zoe and I really love each other, and we have lots of fun playing. So thanks to Zoe and Rhoda, I have a wonderful forever home.
We hope you enjoyed that little happy tale about Zoe and her little pet guinea pig baby. They just seem so inseparable and just love, and you can just feel it in listening to that story.
and it's great for it to have another successful adoption story
Yes.
to share with our viewers. And this one was from the Four Rivers Bird Rescue, even though it was a guinea pig. So,
Well, welcome back. We're talking with Rhoda Boulton from the Four Rivers Bird Rescue organization. And Rhoda, we understand that you do some things with the schools. What kind of education programs do you do with the classrooms?
Okay. Actually, we can set up a special, however the teacher or the principals would like for us to do.
Okay.
We can do history lessons, science lessons, animal care, animal safety. There's a huge array with animals. There's so many topics that you can speak on. Most of the kids love just seeing the animals and
Yes.
seeing the different tricks and things that you can do with these pet animals.
and I understand Cookie, the rabbit that was just on, is the one of the mascots for this program.
Yes, he is, and he is very well known. Most of
Very
the
well-
kids in the when they see me at Walmart or somewhere, everybody's always asking, "How's Cookie? How's
There's
Cookie?"
Cookie's mother.
So Cookie's very popular in the schools.
And if someone wants to get in touch with you about that, they need just to call the shelter at the number that you gave a little earlier, 444-0385.
Correct. Or come by and fill out an application, and we
Okay.
can discuss
Wonderful.
it further.
Okay.
Educate us now about guinea pigs.
Okay. This here is a young guinea pig that came in, and he had a haircut that he wasn't supposed to get. His little friend decided to give him a haircut.
Oh dear.
This is actually what you call a silky guinea pig. And as you can see, they have this beautiful, let me get the fuzz out of her, this beautiful
coat.
Long hair, except, as you can see, kind of had the scissors taken to her, and she had a little bit of a haircut. So she's got a little mohawk back here that looks pretty cute. But these guys make wonderful pets for small children.
Okay.
Because as you can see, they're not nippy. Normally. Now, if you have food or something on your hands, you know, they will try to nip a little bit.
Will they let strangers?
Oh, absolutely. They're very laid back. Here you go, Greg.
Yeah.
Also, they have small toenails, so they don't scratch and hurt kids as easily as what some other animals could.
There.
Watch it, honey.
Yeah, he just wants to roll for you.
Wants to
There
cut-
you go.
wants to cut. Hi, sugar.
There.
Oh, you're a good little fella. Yes, you are.
And this one's name?
He doesn't have a name, have not named him yet.
Oh.
But this is the perfect size cage and stuff for a small guy like this. Of course, you always want to keep an outside water bottle for these guys. They're notorious for getting in the water. If you've got a cup of water, they're just going to be saturated. So by using the water bottle, that controls that a little bit.
Is this animal in stress?
Actually, he's hitting his tickle spot.
Oh, that's what he was making a noise. I didn't want him to be in stress.
Up on the back
All
of his
guinea
shoulder.
pigs. Okay, let's get real quiet. That's their tickle spot.
Oh, so that's a good sign.
That's a good sign.
Okay.
Greg was just tickling her.
Okay.
So now, one thing about these guys is you need to keep plenty of chew sticks for them.
Okay.
And this is pieces of wood and different things for them to gnaw on. Because if I can get her to show us here, they have very forked front teeth. She's, come here. Here, show them your teeth real quick. She's not going to, they have very long pointed teeth.
Okay.
And the thing about it, if you do not keep something for them to gnaw them down, you will have to take them to a vet and they will have to gnaw those down.
Okay.
That would be very painful.
Yes.
So plenty of chew toys. Again, with the guinea pig, you want a good pellet diet.
Okay.
Also, these guys cannot produce vitamin C naturally,
Okay.
but they need it in their diet. So a quarter of an orange a day is perfect for a guinea pig.
Oh, okay.
They do have supplements that you can put in the water for these guys. I don't like flavored water, and I really don't think these guys do either, because you'll notice their water intake will go down if you put the drops in the water. So I really prefer just give them an orange a day.
Okay. Now, when you're talking about water, tap water okay or not okay?
I have city water. All my guys are on city water.
also.
They're not that picky.
Okay, they're not that picky.
They're not that picky.
Okay.
Now with a guinea pig, you want to always make sure they have a house to sleep in.
Okay.
These guys, they do like to hide, and so if you'll notice, probably it's right back in.
Right.
There she goes. These guys need out of cage time too, at least 30-40 minutes a day.
Okay.
Okay. And I see the stuff in the bottom of the cage.
This is called Carefresh bedding.
Okay.
You want to make sure with guinea pigs, they cannot have wood shaving beddings. It will irritate their eyes. So there is Carefresh, and this, believe it or not, we discovered when we emptied it in here today, actually has potpourri. It has like
really?
rosebuds. Like, here's this beautiful little rosebud.
Oh.
So, but that's what flavors it, and it keeps the smell down.
Okay.
Now, one thing, one big reason guinea pigs are put up for adoption is they have a really bad odor. And the odor is their urine. It's very acidy. It'll actually leave really bad stains in your cages.
Okay.
So you want to use a really good cleaner, such as that is approved for animals.
Okay.
XO is what we use at the rescue and on all of our animals. It's safe enough you can spray it in your mouth, so you know you're not going to harm the animal.
Okay.
But to keep the plastic sprayed down with XO and daily scooping.
Now, if I don't have XO, what should I clean the cages with?
Okay, never, ever, ever use any soaps or detergents on animals' cages.
Really?
I don't care how much you rinse it, it still leaves a residue.
Okay.
And this residue, you'll notice some animals will grab the bars and bite on them. Well, they're actually getting that residue in their mouth.
Yes, right.
Over time, even though it might not happen in a day, over 6 months to a year, you could actually be causing chemical poisoning in that animal.
Okay.
So you want to use something that is 100% safe for animals. Read the labels.
And if you're not sure, just use plain
Plain hot water.
Plain hot
Plain
water.
water.
Okay.
All righty. Well, I'll tell you, he is such a cute little fellow, and we want to take a break now and listen to a story with one of our regular features called Forget Me Not. And Rhoda has actually brought that story to us today also. So let's give us a listen.
Over the years, our family has had many special animals come our way. One in particular that stands out was Jack, a peach-faced lovebird. He was our shelter mascot and took it upon himself to be the official greeter for visitors, both human and animal, to our shelter. He would look after all of the animals and seemed to think that they were his family. If a new bird was frightened and didn't want to eat, Jack would fly over and work to try to help him and become his friend. If a bird was in trouble, Jack would communicate this to Rhoda. He truly loved all of the other animals and especially other birds. On December 19th, 2006, he was perched on Rhoda's shoulder when she went outside to check on some other animals. Jack flew away and never returned. It was the coldest night of the year, and there was no way that he could have survived the weather. We greatly miss him, but know that he is probably playing greeter in heaven.
That was a wonderful story about Jack, and although Darleen and I never met Jack, we've heard such wonderful things about him and how receptive and how helpful he was to other birds. So he's truly missed, is what Rhoda tells us.
And it is truly true that bird helped take care of other animals at the shelter. So Jack was just a remarkable bird, and he is missed very much.
As most of you know who've watched the program before, we do ask that people who provide the Forget Me Not story provide a contribution to their favorite animal organization, and to that end, Rhoda has made a contribution to her particular organization.
Her favorite organization, which is?
The Four Rivers Bird Rescue, of course.
Here in Paducah, right.
Yes, and and if any of you have a Forget Me Not story that you'd like to have us do on the air, you can send the information or call to us at 3734 Buyer Lane, Paducah, Kentucky 42001. Telephone 270-443-8330, and or by email at greg_baur@comcast.net. So we hope that you will participate with us, and they make some really wonderful stories.
And support our local animal organizations with whatever donation you can afford, $1 up. The amount is up to you.
Let's turn to another one of our regular features, Darleen.
Yes, our viewers really love our poems by Miss Bunny, Miss Pam Wells, and she has furnished another poem for us today called Into the Sky. Let's take a listen.
Into the sky. The little bird fell through the air from his nest among the trees. He hit the ground with such a force, he lay still among the leaves. The storm had blown him out so fast as he fluttered on the ground. Struggling so to catch his breath, he made the sweetest sound. Strange and scary hands reached out to lift him in the air. He felt the softest, soothing touch from whence he knew not where. He was taken from the driving rain to an indoor place of peace, fed slowly from a gentle hand and nestled down in fleece. Each day he grew and loved the friend that fed him through the night, kissed his beak and stroked his head and took away his fright. Weeks had passed and he was strong, his wings ached now to fly. With a heavy heart, his loving friend watched him soar up into the sky.
We hope you enjoyed that poem by Pam. And of course, that's a regular feature of our show. If you or your group would like to learn more about humane education with animals, you can contact Pam at area code 270-575-3822 or at petlix@yahoo.com. And remember that this is Pam Wells, known as Miss Bunny to all of her friends, and she brings along her favorite little sidekick, Scooby Sue. So if you want to do something with that, be sure to get a hold of Pam. Well, let's get back to Rhoda, and we have two other little kinds of animals we'd like to talk about, Rhoda. So what do we have next?
Okay. This is a perfect size cage for a gerbil or a hamster. They do need little houses and things to chew on. As you can see, he has really chewed up his house, and he also has little chew sticks here. This has lasted all of 2 days. These guys also need exercise every day. The perfect way for that is one of these plastic balls. Okay. And a lot of these guys do not like to be handled. So the easiest way to actually even catch them is to just catch them right in the ball.
So they're not as easy to handle or don't like to be handled as opposed to other.
Exactly.
Okay, so
they're not touchy-feely creatures.
Okay.
Now, you do get the exception that will let you handle them and do very well. But the best way to give these guys exercise, you can actually sit this in the floor and they will go all over.
They'll roll around.
It's hilarious with a cat in the house.
I bet it is.
And they're not expensive. Their expenses a month would be between $10 and $15. Okay. So they're also an inexpensive pet to be able to keep.
And those expenses would be for
the bedding and for their food.
Okay, all right.
Okay, and then next,
okay, we'll put our little friend up.
We are going to bring out, this is Missy and Hank.
Oh my.
Yes, Missy and Hank are ferrets. And of course you guys can't smell this on camera, but these guys really do have a musky odor to them.
May I pet?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they'll squirm everywhere. Here you go.
Okay.
I'll hold on to his
so
leash.
they're touchy-feely.
Okay. They are very touchy-feely.
My God.
But their expenses are very high. To house these two guys, you're talking around $70 a month, and that is a minimum.
Yes.
For two of them?
For two of them. Every other month, their expenses are going to be between $80 and $90.
Ooh.
They have to have special food between their bedding, their toys. And everything these guys need. They are an expensive pet to house.
Now, could I just have one, or do they need to be in pairs?
No, you can have one. Here, Greg, let me.
They like to chew.
Okay, here is their cage. This would be a perfect size cage for one of these guys. We use it as a travel cage for them. But with these guys, they need hammocks. They like to sleep in hammocks or get into tunnels. Also, they're notorious for throwing their food and water cups over. So they do need like the interlock system that will help to keep their food and water. These guys are litter trained just like the rabbit is. Their bedding stays down here in the bottom and they actually go down there to go to the bathroom, which is easier to keep clean.
Okay.
You know, I'm going to tell my viewers, you know, this is the first time I have ever held a ferret. They are adorable.
These guys are very special. One thing you have to worry, these guys can go through anything that their head. So if you look, my hand is this big around. If his head can go through it, he's through it.
Ooh.
We have had calls where light sockets have come off the walls. These guys can get in there and get inside your walls. We've seen them in air conditioning ducts because they will pull a vent up. If it's not screwed down, they will pull it up. They will get into your kitchen cabinets. If you just have no idea how many things these guys can get into. And believe you me, they do get into it. And
how big do ferrets get?
This is full size.
Full size, okay.
Come here, Missy. This is full size. Hank here is 6 years old and Missy is 2, so she has a lot more spunk than he does. But these guys can live up to 12 years.
Okay. And are these up for adoption?
These guys are up for adoption. Of course, it's going to take a very special family to be able to get these two.
And to afford.
You definitely have to be able to afford it. And we just want to make sure that they get their next home is going to be their home for life.
Absolutely.
Okay. And if people would like to adopt some animals, Rhoda, how can they get in touch with you, and where can they see some of the animals that you have for adoption?
Okay, you can come to our rescue.
Okay.
The address is 4995 Meredith Road, Paducah, Kentucky.
Uh-huh.
Our phone number is 270-444-0385. You can also get the directions off of our website, www.fourriversbirdrescue.org.
Okay.
And if I wanted to make a donation, I could contact you there or at what bank?
Any BB&T bank can accept donations in
Okay.
the bird rescue or animal rescue's name.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Well, you certainly have presented a wonderful set of little animals to us today, and they look like they will really make good pets, and it's just wonderful to see what you're doing with them. As you said, these are little animals that shelters will not take.
Exactly.
And so we're so fortunate to have an animal organization in our area that will take in animals that nobody else seems to want or will even knows how to take care of. So we're really, really proud of the work that Rhoda has done in our area.
And Rhoda, as we begin to wind down our program, and I wish we had a lot more time
yes.
to look at these things, what would you like to leave our viewers with? What message would you like to send to them?
Is do your research before you decide to bring any animal into your home. Check out our website. We have a list of everything that these guys need, what the monthly cost is, what the startup cost is, cage expenses, but definitely do your research and know what you're getting into before you buy one of these guys.
Okay. Absolutely, because we want each one of these animals to have a forever home.
And again, if the viewers haven't picked that up, it's at, the website is?
fourriversbirdrescue.org.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Rhoda, we certainly would like to thank you very much today for sharing time with us and sharing your animals with us. And again, thank you so much.
Yes,
and
Rhoda.
we appreciate you making a visit back to us, and we'll look for maybe another visit from you one of these days, too. So, in closing, Darleen, anything you'd like to add today?
Well, I'm just glad our viewers joined us and got
Yes.
this wonderful information about rabbits, gerbils, and ferrets and how to care for them, Greg.
Yes, and in closing, we'd like to say that I'm Greg,
I'm Darlene.
and remind you that give your pets a little extra love today
And every day.
See you next time.
Bye.